I'm joking. I'm right here.
There you are. Hey, are you guys gonna have Valentine decor?
Yeah, I mean, I know you love my wife's decor, but Julie, literally, I mean, there are hearts on the fireplace. So yes, thank you for asking. How is your day going? How is your week going?
Well, it's going really, really well so far. It is. I can't believe it's Tuesday afternoon. I feel like it just started. The winter is throwing me off because we don't do as much on the weekends. So then I do a little bit more work on the weekends. So the winter's throwing me off. So I'm ready for some warmer weather. How about you?
Your decor is beautiful. We need to. Do we have some local authors behind there?
Well, this is a green screen.
Oh, well, it's going good, but.
Feverishly trying to figure out my lighting right before this started. That's what this is.
Well, you're a marketing person. I want to hear you mention Bank of Blue Valley. Our sponsor has some events coming up, so I'm kind of jazzed. Usually we talk a lot about the jobs that they're hiring all throughout the country because people don't realize Bank of Blue Valley is one of the largest banking institutions in the Midwest. So I don't even know this. What do they have going on?
So they got a lot of stuff going on, but before, I want to make sure people are watching this because these are some awesome events. So if you're watching this, get on here and say hello to us. Tell us if you're watching on Facebook or LinkedIn. It looks like Mike Meyer is already here. He said, you are not in the bathroom. You are moving on up. We should just get you a green screen. That way people don't know you're in the bathroom.
Well, daycare, kids are back.
I'm going to get you a green screen and we can have matching backgrounds. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I must call Mike today. I want to get a used piano for a speakeasy.
Oh, that's the person to talk to. That is definitely the person to talk to. All right. Well, I can see people are on here. Come tell us hello. Say hello. Thank you, Eric. Thank you for saying hello. Remember, network over here. So here we go. Okay, the first one, I'm going to try to do something that I've never done before, and I'm going to try to put this into the comments. And I don't know if I can. I'll go back and put them in afterwards. But the first thing we have is an economic outlook webinar that Bank of Blue Valley is putting on. And essentially, they are bringing on this amazing, his name's, I can't say his name, Aaron Basu. He's the chairman and CEO of Sage Policy Group. He's going to talk about what the economy looks like going into 2021. It's really awesome. I'm going to put the registration on Facebook right now, and I'll go back and put it on LinkedIn so that you can get on there. But I'm going to go attend. It looks really awesome. It's definitely in your wheelhouse, Scott. So make sure you check that out. It's this Thursday at 3:00. So
for all you business nerds, this is the time of the year, especially for young people that are tuning in. The beginning of the year is where all the big financial institutions bring in the economists. Very educational, very important to understand. But if you're not attending one, please attend the one with Bank of Blue Valley. It's an awesome opportunity because you'll be in the room with a lot of big hitters.
So now it's on LinkedIn and it's on Facebook. I figured it out in that short amount of time. So definitely go register for it today. I'm super excited to sign up for it. It looks really cool. They've got more details on that link if you go there. And then the other thing that I'm super excited about, and this isn't until a little bit later, it's, I think, towards the end of February 22nd, but Bank of Blue Valley is the official sponsor for the KC Business Journal Mentoring Monday event this year.
Whoa.
So we know that they love to support women-owned business, love to support women just in business. They have a CEO led by Miss Wendy Reynolds. So I'm going to put that link on here for you as well if you want to sign up. But they've got a couple awesome events. And obviously, you guys, we are learning how to do this as we go along. So you can sign up for those events. And I believe that everything should be very, Very exciting, very easy to register. I've already done all of it, and I'm going to be a mentor at the event this year.
That's huge. I mean, the Mentoring Monday is usually one of the biggest events of the year. And for people that are going, I know it's going to be virtual, but a lot of those pictures end up in the business journal, especially on the digital side. So definitely attend if you want to get your name out there.
Yeah, I went last year. It was my first time I was mentor last year. And I want to say it was my favorite event of the year, but I got to go like 3 events, right? They all quit. But I know for people, it's their favorite event of the year. I just don't want to be a liar. So, okay, here's the deal. We got all sorts of people over here. Robin, hello. David, hello. We are looking forward to it too, David. We've got a fantastic lineup. And David's got one more thing here. Said he's such an economic geek. This will be the 7th economic forecast webinar this month. Well, David, I'll see you there. It's going to be my first. But yeah,
David's a big deal. So, but like I said, it is very important to attend at least one. So that's really nice of Bank of Blue Valley to even allow our audience to go, because they're hard to get invites to. Usually there's a lot of dinners, a lot of coffees, and I'm glad that they're hosting it so other people can attend.
All right, well, let's do this. Let's get our panel on here and let's get going. Please tell us if you're watching on Facebook or LinkedIn. It's kind of funny. Our Facebook audience is starting to catch up with our LinkedIn audience. And here we thought, well, should we really do it on Facebook? So let us know. Let's have a little contest and see who's watching where the most. And you're going to do intros because these are all your buddies. I get to meet them for the first time, and I'll do music.
Here we go. Starting first, ladies first, Miss Sheila.
How is everybody?
Number 2, Mr. Fabian. And lastly, not because we were last to graduate college, but we kind of were, but we did it together, Mr. John Paquin. Oh, yeah.
I got my Valentine's Day stuff up in the office.
I appreciate it more than you even know. I love it so much. I did not know y'all went to college together. We're going to have to really dive into that. I know John because he is one of our best commenters on the show every week. So if you want to be one of my favorites like John is, you better start commenting right now. So that is so funny. I can't wait to dive into Scott Haven's college stories. Sometimes he tells stories on here and I'm like, we've got people watching, right? So I can't wait to hear the ones he doesn't tell.
Well, I think we also bond a little bit because we have an opinion of never judging anyone. But I think it's because you and I were such wild cards as we came of age. But it fits well with creating and connecting people from different backgrounds in Kansas City. So, Aaron, are you ready to jump in the driver's seat and start asking questions?
I am. Now that Philip's here, I'm ready.
Oh, okay.
All right. You guys ready? Philip's here. Let us know. All right. So welcome, everybody. We're so excited. First, we're going to make it really easy on you. Sheila, who are you? What do you do? And how do you end up here today?
Yeah. So I'm Sheila Orenberg. I am from Kansas. I was born in Kansas City, Kansas. I grew up in Southern California, and I started working in construction 25 years ago. I worked through the ranks and then started Sorella Group 15 years ago. We're a full-fledged carpentry company. We work in 23 states, and I'm just happy to be here.
Well, we got to talk a little bit more about your business. I mean, you guys are doing this.
I didn't want to get cut off.
Well, I just heard a couple of your clients in the waiting room beforehand. Yeah, you didn't give yourself enough props, so come on.
Okay, thanks. I don't like to be, overwhelming.
We're asking you to brag a little bit.
Perfect. Okay, we do carpentry, all of Division 10, which started out in toilet partitions, toilet accessories, those types of things, and then grew into casework, doors, frames, hardware. We started in the basement of my house and never planned on leaving. And now we, like I said, work in 23 states. We just finished working on the Superdome and the New Orleans airport and some large projects like that throughout the United States. So,
Superdome, is that football, Scott?
That's football.
Yes, it is very historic.
It's a big deal.
It's the future side of the Super Bowl game in 2023. So that's
after,
what renovations are for. Yes.
Where's it at?
So it's in New Orleans. It was a little bit culturally famous because of Hurricane Katrina, and then later Drew Brees and the New Orleans football team ended up winning the Super Bowl. So it was kind of a big win for America, and obviously they got the best of the best that they're working with to continue to upgrade and have a phenomenal stadium.
Now, we do those large projects, but then we also have a facility in Kansas City, and we do any size projects in the Kansas City market as well, because this is where we're from and we love it.
And we're going to win the Super Bowl this year, I heard.
I think so.
Thank you. That's all I know about sports. We're done talking sports. Okay, yeah, I heard you say some pretty fantastic things. So thank you so much for coming on. Fabian, let's move on to you. Who are you? What do you do? How do you end up here today?
Hey guys, it's great to be here. My name's Fabian Conde. I am a Kansas City native. Actually, so I think that this is a fun part of my story. My parents are Hispanic. I'm first generation born in the US, born and raised in Kansas City. Went through our public school program at Shawnee Mission, met these guys at KU. So I know John and I know Scott, and I really appreciate our local community here in our city. And I think that really adds to our culture and the value of living in this part of the country. And then, just to have the Chiefs going to back-to-back Super Bowls, I think is incredibly special, but really makes this current period in our, human history a little more easy to digest. It's just a feel-good moment. But anyways, without rambling on too long, I am the CEO and co-founder of 3DHQ. We are a full-service 3D technology and printing company based right here in Kansas City. We're most known for scanning and printing people and their pets. And so you can see your boy right here, a little figurine of myself. And we've been very fortunate to get, some local celebrities and just fun people. So also most recently we had Mayor Q in here, and we got to scan and print him and add him to our local government prints that we've done. So we also did Mayor Sly James previously. But outside of the 3D photography, which is what we're referring to these figurines as, we do a host of other services. So we do 3D design work. We do reverse engineering, where you can bring in a broken part and we will literally reverse engineer that part and create a new one for you. So we see that happening a lot in the automotive sector. Actually, Sheila, we also see a lot of it coming from the construction side of things as well. We do rapid prototyping. That's been a huge silver lining, I think, during this pandemic, is a lot of the inventors have come out of the woodworks with their $1 million idea. I think we all have one. We just haven't had the tools to bring it to market up until very recently. And that's one of the benefits to 3D printing. But my heart and passion really lies in education. We mentioned KU, Rock Chalk, but going into the elementary school level and up into the college level, we have a huge emphasis in just getting this technology and the education and the curriculum out into the hands of, Generation Z and anybody that's really willing to listen and learn about 3D printing. That's our big focus. We want to teach these kids about this technology, about this emerging industry, and get this into their hands, because let's see where they take it. So without going overboard here, I'll cut myself off.
A little bit more after school. What did you do? And I know it's going to take a while, but just try to do the snippets of where you were posted at and where you traveled to.
Absolutely, Scott. Thanks. This is maybe one of the most memorable periods of my life. During my undergrad, I got degrees in journalism and psychology, and I wanted to travel the world. And I ended up finding this opportunity covering emerging economies, right? So I was based in places like Lommel, Belgium, which to me was incredibly culturally diverse. But honestly, like looking back at it, we were driving through farmland and cow fields and grain silos. So it looks a lot like Kansas City, or, the outskirts of Kansas City going further into Kansas. But, I got to do projects in Eastern and Western Europe. So, I got to see things like the beginning of the Ukrainian civil war back in like 2011. I was stationed in places like Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and there I got to witness kind of the beginning of the Arab Spring, right? And Gaddafi being taken out of government. I was stationed in places in South America. So my last project before coming home was actually in my mother's homeland of Colombia. I got to go to Bogota and cover their oil and gas sector and just kind of see how the world was evolving from the inside out, and talking to, high-level government officials and top 500 CEOs and getting their insights and just attraction for, again, where the world was heading. While I was in Ukraine, I actually came across a company called Prusa, who is one of the larger 3D printers currently. And this is when I was first exposed to 3D printing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I started tracking that, when I came home, and it was just a really exciting moment in my personal life and career-wise. And I spent 7 years doing that before coming back to Kansas City, because salmon swim upstream.
Did you know that the average salary in Ethiopia is $9,000 a year?
That's crazy. It sounds about right. It makes you think.
A good friend here that works for Zoom now, but he's originally from Ethiopia. And so, at the beginning of the pandemic, when everyone was having a really hard time, he was like, no, we lived off $9,000.
There you go. The attitude of gratitude and just putting things in perspective, I think, goes a long way.
Yeah, man, your story's fascinating. I can't wait to dive more into it. John, tell us who you are, what you do, how you get here, and how you're able to comment every single week, because I'm very impressed.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I can follow up Sheila and Fabian, just two amazing backgrounds and stories, but no, thank you so much for having me on the show today. Really excited to be here. So John Paquin, I'm in Brookside, Missouri. So, just outside of the Country Club Plaza, but my background, not near as exciting as Fabian, but, I'm just a boy from Oklahoma. So I grew up in a town called Edmond, Oklahoma, just outside of Oklahoma City. And then my parents moved here to Overland Park, actually not too far from Scott. So I would have went to high school with you, Scott, but I graduated high school in Oklahoma, and then ended up going to Oklahoma State University for a couple of years. And it's kind of a funny story. I mean, all things happen for a reason, but I had way too much fun at Oklahoma State. I made it to my sophomore year, and then my parents yanked me back here to Kansas. So from there, I worked at several successful restaurants in Kansas City. And that's one thing that I always tell everybody. I think it's such a great job to work in the service industry. It's just a really good chance to learn about sales, learn about networking, food, culture, everything, just being able to serve others. So that actually led me to get to the career that I'm at today, working at Bonefish Grill in Leawood. And, it's just all about networking with people. And I happen to be talking to some of my customers who knew somebody that knew somebody who was a part owner of a very successful company called Perceptive Software that is now part of Lexmark and has since been sold on from there. But, kind of a long-winded story of how I got to where I am today. But, I think, as Scott had mentioned earlier, I ran into him at the University of Kansas, and, the rest was history.
I love how you were like, I'm having a little too much fun. Tell you what, I'm going to go to KU. That's
I was going to run into you and Fabian Conde down there in the bottom right. So
I wouldn't know Fabian without you. But the funny thing is, 10 years ago today, John, we've been really lucky to be executives in organizations, but you and I had an apron and a uniform, and we were waiting tables. And I remember being so jealous because you would always get better jobs than me at better restaurants. And I always had to work at other restaurants that weren't as high end. And it's funny that was just 10 years ago. We're living at home and getting change in our apron and making sure we had our ones. And We had pens to make sure we could write down the orders, but I think it's just important that as people are out and about, they make sure that they're nice to the people that are taking care of their food, because they could be your boss one day.
They're also holding your food, so be nice, just in general.
Yeah.
Did you?
John and I never did that.
Did you work with Tobawatana when you were at Perceptive?
Did I know who?
Did you work with Tobawatana?
That does not ring a bell.
So he went on, he worked at Perceptive, and we became very good friends. He went on to be the founder of Calendly.
Oh, okay.
So he spent a little bit of.
The interesting thing about Perceptive software that's so cool is that, everybody that I worked with there's, become very successful sales leaders all across Kansas City. Some of the most fastest growing and exciting companies are all people that I worked with about 10 years ago now, working at several companies like Safety Culture, and other ones all over town. But, my passion and background is really in supply chain and software sales. So I've been in supply chain, helping companies with distribution and reducing their transportation costs for the past 10 years. It's just something I'm passionate about. I think one of the coolest things is being able to, go do a walkthrough at a company's manufacturing facility and seeing how stuff is made. I've seen everything in a manufacturing facility from coffins being made to SUV cement trucks, bottles of wine at some of the biggest vineyards in Napa, all the way to tools that we use on an everyday basis. So it's really cool being able, it's like that TV show, like how things are made. I literally live that on a day-to-day basis, maybe not so much anymore since I'm stuck here in Kansas City. I'm not able to get out, but that's always been a passion and, why I really love this career.
Coffins, how was that one?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Baseball casket.
I feel like, you got a stronger stomach than me, I think, sir. All right. Well, thank you all so much for coming on. We have so many people excited over here. You've got a fan club over here, actually, Fabian, right here.
Woohoo!
And Janae is watching us from Russell, Kansas. Celeste loves all of your stories. So all sorts of great stuff. Make sure you comment over here. This is how you meet people. And then this is how you end up on the show, too. So make sure you're commenting. All right, y'all. The next question. This is really a question I didn't think we'd be asking anymore. But here we are, 2021. I saw a meme the other day. It said 2021 is like 2020 with, what was it? It was with bangs. 2020 with bangs. That's what it said. So here we are. We like to talk about the positives. We absolutely know that this pandemic has been very hard on people, but we like for this show to focus on some of the positives that have happened. So Sheila, can you share some of the positives that have happened for you and your company and business during this crazy going into year 2?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things that has happened to us in the end of 2019, we purchased a property with 2 buildings in Kansas City, Kansas. We've always been out south, and we got a little delayed because of a lot of COVID stuff. We had possibly some owner delayed choices. I won't name names. But we just finished the project and we're actually moving in. So as people are transitioning in, and the building is big enough that we have room to spread out. And for those that want to come back to the office can come back to the office. So it's super exciting for us. It's a huge complex with a warehouse so that we can, help our customers in Kansas City with walk-in sales. And then also it's our headquarters for all the projects that we do through the United States. So we were we were the owner, we were the contractor, we were the developer and the designer, and I might have been on the demo crew, because while everything was shut down, I was like, what are we going to do on the weekends? Nothing's open. So I kind of rounded my family up. I was like, hey, let's go tear these walls down. So it's a super, super proud project for us. And then we get to live here forever. So that's, moving into this year is, transitioning back in. So.
Well, congratulations. Where did you say you guys are located?
And you can see this is my green screen. Sorry, wrong way.
Oh.
That's my green screen back there because I don't have artwork up yet. We're not quite there.
And then, Sheila, one thing that you do a lot of work with some of the best and most amazing general contractors around the country, but especially here in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times when a general contractor is putting a new building or renovating a building, they'll contact you. And so if someone in the show is remodeling, can they find you on your website?
Absolutely. They can find us on our website at sorellagroup.com and reach out to us. And we are good with remodels and redevelopment and new construction and all of those things. So, yes.
Well, congratulations on the new space. That is so exciting.
See, that's the positive. When everybody all gets their vaccines and everything later in the year, we're going to host a happy hour. So maybe you can go live from my lounge.
Yeah.
We like
Absolutely.
happy hour. We love
You know
it.
what, Aaron? We've never even thought about Sheila. It's crazy that you brought that up because we can do Fabian's location. John, you're a global powerhouse. So I don't know. We could go to your house, but that's interesting. We can host from a variety of different areas. Very smart point.
I have a pretty amazing lounge. You're going to want to see it.
We're coming. We're coming. So just mark us down. But we do love happy hours. So we're coming for drinks too. Fabian, what has been, first of all your figurines, they have been on the show. So now you just need to have a drinks with leaders past guest space with your face, Quentin, Sly. They've all been on the show. So that's exciting for us. What has been a great win for you during this crazy couple of years?
Man, where to begin? I think from an industry perspective, if you didn't know about 3D printing before the pandemic, you definitely know about it now, right? There was a great story that came out of Italy, and it was the Venturi valves that supply chains broke down. So John is a great resource and reference for this. We started reaching out to hospitals and different medical facilities in the region, just saying, hey, if you happen to experience a supply chain breakdown, chances are we can recreate that part for you and get it to you in a timely manner. So once that first story broke, I think people started connecting the dots and actually seeing the magic and the application of this technology. So from an industry perspective, it was just getting on the map. You didn't know about it before. Now you've at least heard of it. And it's still very mysterious. And most people don't really understand how it works. And that's fine. That's okay. That's why we love talking about it and educating our clientele. And again, just anybody that's willing to listen, how this actually works. So from the industry, then for us, our big year. So our business strategy for 2019 was, we're going to be everywhere. We're going to go to events, and we're going to be at an event every weekend. And we had 2 to 4 events booked for the year of 2019. And we were actually in Nashville at a Nashville Predators game. And it was a market we'd never entered before. They hadn't heard about 3D HQ, and we were so well received. And this was February 2019, like the end of February. And it went so well. And we were like, this is it. This is the year we blow up. And I mean, everybody knows how that story ends. Events are canceled, and it was the right thing to do. But from there, I hate hitting like these buzzwords and phrases like we're all in this together and we pivoted. And unless you're like unless you mean it and you walk the walk, like I want to see action. So for us, we did shift over, and we had made some investments the year prior into more machines, into more technology, into more software that we were able to produce, protective equipment, right? So like actual masks that work. The efficacy on the masks was the big thing for us. We didn't just want to put something out there to do it. And that opened the door to so many other projects throughout the year, but one of my biggest wins to wrap this up, so I give everybody else a chance to talk, is we're big on community and working with local creators, different companies around town. And one of our neighbors here on the Country Club Plaza is actually Made in KC, they're doing fantastic things. If you guys haven't visited their shops, please go check them out. But they came to us with an idea. They were like, we want to do a snow globe with something that is a Kansas City icon. And so we had a brainstorming session, and we came up with a few designs, and they settled on the shuttlecock from the Nelson Atkins Museum. And what we ended up doing was we actually took one of our drones out there and we scanned the actual shuttlecock and then shrunk it down into this little guy right here. And over the course of a few months, we actually created a customized product for this company, and we're able to use a lot of the equipment that we had on hand to turn this around in a timely manner. And it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. And that was a big win for us at the end of the year. It was a great way to close out Q4.
And Philip said he's been to your store on the plaza.
Woohoo! Come back, Philip. We appreciate you supporting us.
Well, that's amazing. I need to go get one of those snow globes. Those are really cute. Do they still have some, or did they sell out? Do you know?
So they sold out, but we can make them for you.
Oh, okay.
So I got your back.
I like it. Yeah, they did some amazing things during the shutdown over at Made in KC. So I was watching them, keeping them on my radar. And they actually took Thela Cherry's business in there, which ended up being the first ever Black-owned retail business on the plaza during the break. Yeah, and she was a former guest. How about you, John? What are some wins?
If I were to think about it, like my biggest win is actually, Fabian used the word pivot earlier, but this year, I mean, you'd think it's, being in sales, everybody's world was kind of turned upside down last year. No more going to conferences, no more going on site. Like I used to go on site and see customers all the time and be able to see their process in person and just engaging with people. It's just different, doing Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting, but it's really enabled us to adapt and connect with people differently. So when you asked me earlier, so how do you find the time to always get on your show and ask all those questions? I make it a point to do that. And you have to build your brand. And that's the biggest thing one of my mentors has told me is, I'm really focused on building my brand as being the supply chain person and just being somebody who can connect people and network. So I'm learning that from Scott. We've done that really well over the years. But the biggest thing that I did last year during the pandemic was I decided to make a career change. So I've been at a great company for 8 years in Kansas City, and I just wanted to try something new. I wanted to continue to expand my knowledge and my expertise in supply chain. I've only kind of been like singular focused around warehouse management solutions. So scanning barcodes in a warehouse and getting visibility in the supply chain. Well, I wanted to just kind of broaden that and just become an industry expert. So I decided to go work for, a $40 billion powerhouse called Oracle. And what I wanted to do there was just really focus on kind of the whole picture in the supply chain and logistics. So now I'm learning about global trade management and how we can help customers with tariffs and free trade agreements and compliance, and also learning about transportation management. So how can companies reduce transportation costs? A lot of companies struggled with that last year. And just most recently, just even with China, they are now like increasing the price of containers as they ship them on barges across the ocean, like 300%. So these companies who are receiving barges and containers from China, what used to cost them $3,000 is now $10,000 a container. So they're really struggling, looking at ways for cost savings. And that's just something that really excited me. So, I took the opportunity to really pivot and invest in myself and go down a different career path. And it's really paid off. Couldn't be happier with that decision.
Nice.
How was the learning curve with going from a company that's national or North America to global? Because obviously you work with an organization that you got to get it right when you're on the phone with these large companies. So how was that learning curve? Was COVID good because you could study and learn a lot, or was it really just something you picked up on naturally?
That's a great question. I mean, learning curve, I'm learning something that I've got to be the expert in something that I hadn't sold for years. So, I think being at home has given me more time to focus and being able to do research and learn about things. So I'd say it hasn't been that big of a deal. It's been really helpful being at home.
Yeah, I love talking to my clients and prospects because I always tell them I know nothing about my industry, so therefore you can't hold me responsible to anything I say. And but my partners do, or my friend John does. And so you're really just taking on that next level, John, of you're not really in sales, you're really just in, solutions where you're just diagnosing where you can help someone as opposed to the sales aspect, which I think is a great place to be in. So congratulations on the pivot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Growing that brand is so important right now, that personal brand.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something
Aaron, what is the new currency?
Attention. It is.
Well, I didn't know if you want to go into our Bank of Blue Valley question.
I didn't know where you were going with that. I have a keynote that I do often that says attention is the new currency. That's where that came from. But it really is. And everyone that pivoted so quickly to online, if they weren't doing it and they got there, or if there was like some of us that were already doing it, I mean, we didn't blink, right? So, all right, let's talk about Miss Wendy Reynolds, who is so great online. She pops up every show somehow. She makes time for us every single week.
And wardrobe changes.
And it's good. She's good. We're going to have you answer this question, Sheila, as soon as Wendy is done, and then we'll just go walk around. But I love this question. I actually didn't even look at the guest list when I chose the question, and it worked out perfect. So here we go.
What are the most helpful technological platforms or products that you've used?
So we were, oddly enough, we have offices in 3 states and projects in 23 states. We were not utilizing technology as much as we should have been. And so, this has really pushed us into using Teams and GoToMeeting and Zoom and all of those things rather than FaceTiming on telephones and on iPads. So it seems really basic, but we have a variety of levels of folks, working from the field and working on sites that don't have cell phone coverage, but being able to go somewhere and being able to use Teams and things like that. So really has helped us with our business and everybody working remote. We were somewhat set up for it, but not completely. And now it's just instantaneously everybody is available via Teams, and, just video chats like this seem to be so much easier, especially when we're walking, a job site 1,500 miles away, and you can put it on a phone and have not just on a FaceTime with one person, but you can have it on a platform with 5 people. Here's the problem and here's how we're going to find a solution for it. So.
I don't think that's unusual for your industry, right?
Right. We're a little behind, probably. Smidgen.
Well, but you have, listen, I think if a lot of people can figure out how to get clients in 23 states without the use of technology, you're probably going to be well ahead once you start using it.
Well, thank you.
So get ready.
It's called begging.
Fabian, you use a lot of technology, so let's chat about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great question. What we've seen during this pandemic, I think, is the acceleration and the adoption of technologies that have already existed that we're finally implementing, right? So many people were forced out of the office, and for years, for decades, they were like, remote work doesn't work. We can't trust our employees. They're going to be less productive. It's just not going to work. And what we've actually seen is an increase in productivity across several sectors, while also, I think, showing people that there are a lot of benefits of being in the office. I miss people, places, and things. It makes such a difference. But to get an answer to your question, something that we started using early on was Google Drive. Accessing the same file and being able to edit things in real time from different places is a huge benefit to us. And it's also just, cloud storage. John knows a lot about this, but being able to not slow down my computer or buying, additional hard drives so I can store these files that we're working on. I can't say enough about those kind of platforms like Google that allow you to use, to work on projects together from different environments. That's huge. My big one, and I was probably late to the game on this, we also work on a lot of projects, much like Sheila does. And what we needed was a software that allowed us to communicate about those projects specifically without overwhelming our inboxes. So we started looking at different things like Trello, which is pretty cool. It's free, which is probably like the coolest part. But we ended up going with a software as a platform or software as a service or platform as a service company called Monday. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this or heard about this, but Monday is awesome. You know, it allows us again to collaborate on projects and talk about it in real time, and then okay, here's the next step that we need to take. So those are my two big ones: Google Drive and everything embedded there, and then Monday as a project management software.
And Monday is very affordable for small businesses. If you're looking for a PM, go look at that. I like when they make it affordable for small business, because for a long time there wasn't anything out there when you were starting a business. Yeah, we're doing it on spreadsheets, so I like Monday.
And then Aaron and Fabian, before we get to John, I have always waited out on, like when PayPal or Venmo went out in terms of what people use, and same with different platforms. Do you see there being a winner between like a Trello, a Monday, a Slack, a Teams? Because right now I feel like there's so many of them. I personally, that I run peer groups, I haven't picked one because I feel like I don't want to force everyone to download something. Do you think of a winner that's going to come out of this?
Aaron, do you want to go first?
Well, I think those are all different platforms that you just brought up, right? So like what I'm saying is there's a very small business versus corporate thing. Like corporate is going Teams. That is what they're doing, where a lot of small businesses are going Zoom, and same kind of with Google Docs versus Outlook. Right? Google versus Outlook. I kind of see like I'm in the creative space, so I see a lot of creatives going towards the more easier small business types versus corporate. So I kind of see separations on that. So there's a couple winners. Project management systems, I think as far as me, I think, you got to find what your business and what your business model is. We went through about 6 of them before we figured out. We ended up with Pipedrive, which is a CRM, which worked for us, but we did try Monday, and I could see how it would be awesome. We just needed some other aspects. So I think you just have to try them. But I think the ones that are winning are the name brand ones already. What do you think, Fabian?
That's a great answer. To piggyback off that, I think that you're absolutely right. It's kind of what works best for you in the market. That brand recognition. I see Monday, at least with some online commercials and things of that nature. And it's probably because I have the software. But from my experience and testing out these other platforms, I do think that Monday will be in that kind of like top 2 or top 3, Scott.
They also put a lot of their venture capital money into ads, which was smart, right? So they made themselves a name brand, where I know quite a few startup PMs that didn't get the venture capital money. They just got it for the development, not for the advertising. And that's where I think that you have to have the customers.
Yep.
So when I make this joke, I say it with a lot of love, and someone goes, I wasn't really shocked that I had to ask, like I had to call Scott Havens because I know a lot of people. And if I'm interested in technology, you mean I got to call John Paquin because he's the expert? And I'm like, yes, he's the most successful person out of our group of friends in the technology sector. And he has an amazing network in Kansas City, and he really understands the different software companies, because Perceptive was such an incubator that really spawned off a lot of really talented people. And John got a chance really early out of school to work with those folks. And so, John, for you, obviously your technology, this is such a great question for you that Wendy Reynolds, the CEO of Bank of Blue Valley, asked. But, what do you see as differentiators for your business that you're doing for your clients, and also things that we all should be looking out for?
Man, well, just to piggyback on some prior comments I heard, Sheila, talking about contractors in the construction industry. I've had a lot of experience working with some of the largest construction companies in the world. And, multi-billion-dollar companies are still running on spreadsheets, and it's crazy. So you're not far behind at all. So no need to worry there. But, I think from my perspective, some tools that, like Fabian had mentioned, we've always had handy, but really COVID really brought out how we need to leverage these tools. And I think some things that have really helped me be successful and be able to sell virtually is just simple sales plugins and tools that I use to engage with customers and partners and people. And one of them is called Vidyard. So anytime I talk to any other sales professionals, if you're not engaging virtually in your sales cadences, you're behind because your competitor or somebody else is using that. So something that I use on an everyday basis, instead of sending a boring email, I'll send somebody over just a quick 30 to 45 second video kind of outlining what I was going to talk about. So that's just been a really effective tool for me as I'm out there trying to find new business, being able to engage and get people to connect and respond to me. So that's a free Chrome plugin that I use on a day-to-day basis that I had never used in my life prior to COVID. So that's one that I would highly recommend. That's been really cool. And, you can send that over in an email really easy.
What was that name again, John? I'm sorry.
Vidyard. So that's something that I use all the time when I send out videos, even to my teams internally. I'll just send a video instead of an email. It's fun. You can engage with people. Another thing is just leveraging LinkedIn. So, I pride myself on staying on top of that. You probably get sick and tired, or maybe you enjoy seeing all my daily posts. But there's even native capabilities within LinkedIn that you should be using if you're not today. Being able to send videos. Once you're connected to somebody on LinkedIn, you can send a video instead of sending over a message. So,
John, what was the post you had that had tens of thousands? I don't want to discredit. I don't know if you had 100,000, but what was that post in regards to?
Yeah, that was just a post talking about the new year, and something I'm really passionate about is helping others however I can. So I really mean it. If I can help introduce you to somebody else, or if I can serve as a reference, or anything I can do to help people in their career, I'm all about that. And that post ended up getting over 100,000 views on LinkedIn, which was crazy. I mean, I've had 1,000 views on a regular basis, but 100,000 views. So that was I blew up overnight there.
That's awesome. I know Erin's done a lot of that personally with what she does, but it's so rare that posts do that. But I just think what you're doing and seizing the moment on the new year where eyeballs are on screens, I think it's really smart that you're enhancing your brand nationally and using LinkedIn as that platform. And, we're really lucky that Erin's invited to LinkedIn globally, and she works with them. And she was one of the first to get a LinkedIn Live license now, which makes this the #1 LinkedIn Live show in Kansas City and maybe the Midwest based upon views. But we're huge LinkedIn fans, and we didn't tell you this ahead of the show, but for future guests who are watching, we're not allowed to curse. So not that we're going to do that, but just a heads up for LinkedIn there.
Another trick I like for LinkedIn is the voice notes. So I love video, John. I love video all day, every day, but I still see people struggle with putting themselves on video even after all this. But voice notes are one of the best ways to connect with people on LinkedIn, and just shooting over, you just hit the little microphone in your message and say, hey, just thinking of you. That's been one of my favorite parts of LinkedIn. I've met a lot of both friends, clients now through voice notes. So I'd want to encourage people to use that as well. So, and I haven't got a video from you, so I'll be looking for that.
Coming your way.
Perfect. All right. Well, let's see. We've got a lot of people on here. Letitia right here says she loves learning new things. She was a client, or a client. She was a guest a few weeks ago. Scott says, this is informative. Great idea. I used to work with Scott at Pella. We were doing sales at Pella. So I don't know where he's at now. And then personal brand. So while we're talking about that, Philip says attention is 100%. So
yeah, not to bring attention to the Bank of Blue Valley's economic forum, but I always felt a little left out until recently. I think we had David Kumar, who's a retired brigadier general, that's commenting that he's been to a bunch of them. It's literally kind of like, you had to be in a certain clique or at a certain country club, and really kind of talking about with what we were talking about, John, about seizing the moment with social media, or utilizing a platform like that, or mentoring Monday with the Business Journal, which I can't believe Bank of Blue Valley is a sponsor. I just really highly encourage people to go to those, because those used to be things that only very few people knew about, or those that have generations behind them of success, and taking advantage of the wide open opportunities and information being, the world's most powerful commodity. And to your point, Erin, what you speak on is attention is the new currency, is, something that's really smart. And I thought it was interesting. We've never talked about it on the show.
Yeah. I mean, we're all sitting in the corner of our bedrooms right now, right? Well, except for you're in your new fancy building, Sheila, but I'm sitting in the corner of my bedroom. You got to get attention somewhere. So start doing this. All right, listen, we're down to 10 minutes. And since y'all know Scott, y'all know that Scott's favorite thing in the world to do is ask cheesy icebreaker questions. So every time we get down to 10 minutes and not enough time for a real thoughtful question, I allow Scott to ask a very cheesy, I apologize ahead of time, icebreaker question. So Scott, take it away.
So I'm asking this for kind of selfish reasons because I don't know some of the answers, but I want to know a favorite memory of high school and a date in the fast food or restaurant you went to. So what was the name of a restaurant that you can remember that you went on a date in high school? Sheila, you can. I mean, if you don't want to go first, we can have Fabian go
first.
So do you want Fabian to go first?
I'm probably
I got
the
your back.
oldest one here, so someone else should have to go first while I think about this.
I got you, Sheila. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this is like hilariously embarrassing because it was a group date. It was prom, junior year. So there was like, I don't know, 10 to 15 couples. So a bunch of angsty teenage kids. And we took our dates to Zinzetti's off like 91st and Metcalf, which is, it's not fast food, but it's not quite like high end when you think of like where you're taking dates to for prom. And it was like buffet, family style. Dude, I laugh about it to this day because I'm just thinking like, how did we get away with that? Like,
Fabian, were your tips bleached?
oh man, yes, yeah, really bad haircuts. And like, I don't want to die with any regrets. So one of the ways that I express that is through my hair. And most recently, I got this little thing going on. It's a side rat tail. I don't know if you guys can see that.
There we go.
But this is, yeah. So John knows me from college as well. And I had one in college. And with the pandemic, I was like, you know what? Like I shaved my head over the summer. I don't know, just having fun. But anyways, not to take up too much time, Zinzetti's in high school, hilariously embarrassing. It was a bunch of us.
Bleach tips were big in the mid 2000s for those that happened to come of age. So John, was there a restaurant that, wait, what are you pointing at, Aaron?
I want people to put theirs in the comments too.
Yes, exactly. Please comment. This has been an organic part of the show that we found to be very entertaining. John,
I hate it, but we love it.
Oh, we do. John, what about yourself? What's a restaurant date that you remember?
Well, back then, Zinzetti's was probably a little too classy. So sticking on the Italian theme, in Edmond, Oklahoma, I'm thinking Fazoli's. So if anybody's ever been there, place is awesome. And it hurts me talking about it because 3 weeks ago, I gave up gluten and dairy. So I hate talking about bread because it makes me hungry. But the best thing about that place was unlimited breadsticks. And I think I had like 2 baskets of them that night. So that's the one that comes top of mind to me.
John, my daughter is about to turn 9, not till March, the end of March, but they get to choose whatever restaurant they want. And last year it was during lockdown. So we did like a fancy dinner at my house. And she's like, this year, I really want to do it big. Can we go to Fazoli's?
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Saving mom money. I appreciate it. All right, Sheila, you ready?
Well, I grew up in Southern California, and you guys are going to have no idea what this is, but there was this place, and it was called the Generic Hamburger Stand, which was kind of like a McDonald's, but the hamburgers were only 23 cents. And the cheeseburgers were 27 cents. And I think we may have went there and ordered by the bags to see how many we could eat, probably on a regular basis.
Was that a date?
That's awesome. Was it open late or?
Well, I didn't go out late. No, yes, they were. Yes, they were open late.
Scott's
Yeah.
little
So literally you could have, for $2, you could have multiple meals.
Ooh.
And all they
Aaron.
had was hamburgers, cheeseburgers, and fries.
There you go.
That's
What about you,
perfect.
Scott? Put you on the spot.
Well, I'm like a stand-up comedian here. I mean, I could go Olive Garden. I could go Chili's, Garozzo's on the Italian theme. My older brother was 16, and me and Courtney Pennywell, who's a buddy of mine, we were on a date, and we were 15, and we celebrated Valentine's Day in the trunk of my brother's car, and we exchanged burned CDs, because back in the day, you'd make CDs, and then you'd write the names of the songs on there. And so that was sticking to the Italian theme. Erin, what's a restaurant that you went on a date in high school to?
So I grew up in Gardner, so the only restaurant we had was Sonic. But if a boy really liked you, he took you to Olathe to Applebee's, which to this day is my favorite restaurant. And I talk about that way too much on this show. So
good.
Since we're talking waiting tables, how many times did you work at Sonic?
Are you talking about when I got fired twice? Here's the thing. They wanted you to go to work on a Friday night, which didn't work out when I was a teenager. So I worked there a handful of times in between both of them.
So we're going to do the same. We're going to do the same talk track. But one thing, we talked about business. John, you mentioned gluten, but from a business perspective, Fabian, you go first, and then we'll go John and Sheila. What is one thing that you wanted to implement in your business that was different in 2021 than last year? I mean, we always have things, for me personally, I sometimes on Thursday and Friday, I'm so worn out that I'll sometimes overshare or maybe say something negative about a competitor of mine. And I work on making sure that I don't do that. What are some things that you want to change or improve in 2021?
1 minute answer.
Okay, great question. Culture is so important for us. It's probably like a lot of what we're seeing around other companies, just that work-life balance. Again, I think that the pandemic has given us a lot of silver linings, hopefully has made us appreciate the really important things in life a bit more, which in my opinion are experiences. What experiences do you want to have? And then go give yourself those experiences, and then relationships. That's what it comes down to. So for us here, at 3DHQ, we're a very small company, and we really look out for each other. It's just more about work-life balance, and making sure that people have enough of a break from work. So we're big on not texting each other or bothering each other with work-related questions on our weekends. And so that's been huge. And another one that I really like to do is if it's your Friday, because we work off hours here, like we're open 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. And then on Sundays, we close at 6. So like my weekends are on Sunday, Monday. So sometimes I get to get out of here a bit early on a Saturday. So my weekends prolonged a bit. And I do the same thing for our other team members here. So we're big on that, just work-life balance and giving each other a little more time off when we can, even if it's a couple of extra hours to get your weekend started off right, or coming in a couple hours later on your Monday. You know what I mean? It goes a long way.
John, what is something you want to do differently in 2021?
I think what you just said is so big. And, I've got baby number 2 on the way here 1 month from now. So it's all about the work-life balance. And that's one thing I love about the company I'm at right now is, in the past, I've worked way too past 5 o'clock until 7 o'clock sometimes at night. So it's really being able to shut down at 5 o'clock and be with my family and disconnect and be present. So I think that's just so big and something that I struggle with and I challenge myself with. Another thing is own the morning. So I need to get better at that, and it's something that I want to focus on. But I want to, get better about waking up early, getting out, getting my workout in, and starting the day out right. Some of the most successful people that you talk to in the world, CEOs of companies, it's all about how they start their day. So I want to be able to get up early enough, get in a workout, whether it's 30 minutes or an hour, and just start the day out in the right mindset. So I think it's work-life balance, being in the moment, and getting up early and getting after it.
Sheila, what is one thing you want to change in 2021?
I love all of the work-life balance, and that's always been a focus for us, which kind of ties into mine, and it's community service. For the last year, we've all been stuck at home and not been able to give back, but then also not expecting everybody to do it on their nights and weekends, but carving out time during the week, during work hours, that we can get involved in community service where we're available, regardless of how creative we can be. are, being creative to make that happen. So I think everybody in our organization is, wants to get back, and everybody has different organizations that they want to be involved in, and just making sure that we're all supporting each other with our causes. So,
Erin, you ready to wrap it up?
I am ready to wrap it up. I'm going to tell you mine, though. Mine is just to support more local and minority-owned businesses this year. I feel like we really went all in on that in 2020, and so we're going to keep trying to do that in my family here in 2021. Even though sometimes it's easy to order Amazon, right? It's a little easier if we're making it a mad focus around here. I got too many Amazon boxes. That's what I learned too. All right. Well, we cannot thank you all enough for coming on the show. We really, truly appreciate it. Everybody is tagged on this post, so go connect with them. Go Chiefs. That is a great.
God, John's a pro.
Yeah. We're just going to put them in the corner next time. We'll just put up Chiefs. Oh, got Chiefs. Go check out everybody. Connect with everybody. Thank you all for coming on. Go hit the links and sign up for all of Bank Blue Valley's events, because they're amazing and they want you there, and they're doing things for our city that nobody else is. So we will see you next Tuesday, same time, same place. Have a great week.
Thank you all.
Ooh, and Autobahn's great.